Hey, welcome to Screenplay Junkie. My name's Drew Hellmich, and I'm a screenwriter. Film is a pretty sweet medium of art. However, before anything can make it to the big screen, it must start as a blueprint, text on paper. So if you're a fellow addict of film and storytelling, come join us as we take a look at various types of screenplays, short stories, and other source material that were crucial to the creation of the stories that we all love. I must warn you, though, there will be spoilers, so I do recommend being familiar with the title that's being discussed. Sound good? Cool. Then let's get started. Welcome back, fellow story addicts. Screenplay Junkie episode number 19. Drew, Matt, and Bryan here.
Hello, I'm here.
Hey.
Bryan?
Yes.
Why are you covered in mud?
I wonder why you guys are looking at me weirdly while sitting
Head to
here.
head to toe, covered in mud. What's the story?
I read this real trustworthy website online. It was .xe something, some random
Some
profile.
random URL?
Yes.
Definitely not a .org.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Or a
And it
.edu.
just-
Or .gov.
It just step by step how to coat yourself from head to toe with mud, and it's something for like the pores, opens you up. It's a deep cleansing.
Oh. Well, wow, your skin's going to be smooth
Wow,
as silk,
man.
young man.
Jeez.
I mean, I guess that was your just spring break agenda, to come home and just mud yourself.
Mud.
So you can just go back with like a fresh layer. So you think you're like a snake? Are you going to like shed the mud? I
don't know either.
Well, you're making a mess, and it's really pissing me off.
Yeah, keep the mud off the podcast equipment. Keep your water on the ground again. No mud, no spilling water.
I mean, I figured you were just doing it because you were trying to hide from a predator or something.
Oh, no.
Just like
Strictly
Arnold
skin
did.
pore
Just
protection.
like Dutch.
So today, we will be discussing the 1987 film Predator, which actually was formerly titled as Hunter.
All right, so real quick, the Predator, right, or the Hunter, whatever you want to call it, but the thing we see in the movie or in the film is one of the coolest creatures in all of movies. Like, the Predator is so cool. It's it's so cool that it's in
success
Mortal
rate is
Kombat
great.
now. You can play as the Predator in Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm.
There's other video games. There's all kinds of stuff with the Predator. What I want to ask you guys is, like, what's your favorite creature of all time in, like, any movie that you've seen? Or just something you want to, like, give a shout-out to if the Predator is your favorite?
Wow.
Like, something I want to shout out? What's it called?
I don't know.
I got one.
That's tough. You go ahead.
Oh, A Quiet Place.
Oh, nice.
I thought the creatures in that were really
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and just
those are-
different. Something I'd never seen before.
I'll keep it with, like, those are CGI, correct?
You can do anything you want.
Yeah.
I'll keep it with non-CGI and go with the original Thing.
Oh, dude, that's what I was going to say because I love the practical effects in that one.
Dude, that
The
was
film,
sure.
the film, The Thing.
The film,
Right.
The
I
Thing.
just wanted to clarify that.
Yes.
John Carpenter.
Kurt
I
Russell.
don't know, man. We've already talked about aliens. We said how much we love aliens, but
xenomorph,
the xenomorph
yeah.
is definitely one of my favorite creatures ever.
So
in-
cool.
Nice.
I mean, it's
fiction.
blood. Its blood is acid. How cool is that?
And
It's the perfect specimen.
But the Predator itself might be top dog.
No,
And the weird thing
it's
too,
sweet.
a lot of these creatures or whatever you want to say, they're created by the same guy, right? Like,
Dan Winston, I think his name
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
do you guys have anything off the top of your head that he did?
Aliens.
Okay, so Aliens for sure,
Jurassic
Predator,
Park.
Jurassic Park stuff,
Terminator.
Terminator. This guy's a legend.
Yeah, he did a lot of good stuff.
What's his
man.
name again? Say it one more time.
Stan Winston.
Thank you, Stan Winston.
I think. I mean, I could be wrong. We could double check this, but I think he died recently.
Oh,
Or
rest in
maybe.
peace.
Yep,
Or
Stan
maybe.
Winston.
thoughts and prayers.
R.I.P. Stan. Maybe you're thinking of Stan Lee?
Well, I just want to look really fast. just
R.I.P.
in
Stan
case.
Lee.
Maybe you're thinking of Lee Stan.
Stan Helsing?
Oh no, he's been dead for. He's been actually dead
That's
for
a bad
11
one.
years.
It's a bad
Oh,
one.
11 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Well, I'm 11 years late on my rest in peace.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. But your movies you worked on were awesome.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, totally.
Great character development.
All right, let's regroup on Predator here. Like we said, Predator is probably one of our favorite films growing up. We had this on VHS and we watched it a ton of times.
We've seen it too many times.
Yeah, it's like
I don't even
unhealthy
remember.
probably. But I mean, I remember like pretty vividly. We would watch this movie just driving in the car because what was it like? Basically a portable like TV with a VHS player.
Yeah.
That thing would get played so much, man.
And it wasn't just us too; it was our cousins.
Yeah,
that
right.
Loved the movie too, and now it's turned into a thing where if we're all like drunk together and it's like past 11 p.m., like we just eat pizza. We eat pizza and watch Predator, and everyone's
maybe
asleep
even
by halfway through the movie.
Or Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme too. That usually comes on.
So picking this movie for an episode was an easy decision for us. Like,
oh yeah,
this is
absolutely,
one I've wanted to do this from the get go, but we started with Aliens, so we had to wait 17 episodes before we could do this one.
And we wanted to wait for Bryan to be present to do this episode as
I'm
well.
I'm glad to be here as well.
Yeah.
Something I want to get your take on, Brian, is the music in Predator, right? Because I guess it was done by a guy named Alan Silvestri.
Yeah.
And he had been involved in a ton of stuff because to date he has composed scores for 126 films.
Damn, that's impressive.
But what'd you think of the music?
Yeah, no, I thought the score was really cool. It was different from other pieces and like other music that you listen to because it was more like percussion based, I'd say, with more of like drums, kicks, snares, and like weird snaps.
Dun,
and
dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Like it wasn't like an actual instrument. I don't think it was like a weird. I thought of it like a drum rather than it being like.
Yeah.
It was just like so different, and it fits so well, just like what the idea and like fear that they were getting across with the music in the film.
Mm-hmm. Even just like the sounds of the jungle, like the. I'm not doing a good impersonation of it, but I mean,
none of us can do a good one. You just gotta.
I wonder how he did it. Yeah, and just the way he thought about it, and just killed it.
Yeah.
It really helps. Like scores like that just really help piece a movie together. Helps you enjoy it more.
Mm-hmm. The suspense, of course.
Yeah, like my best example
Creates
is like
the mood.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Totally different genre, but totally different kind of score too. It uses actual music, but it just takes the movie to the next level. And that's what they did with Predator. Totally different style, but similar in comparison in some small way.
All right, let's talk about the script info. Predator, like we said earlier, was previously titled as Hunter, and the date of the draft that we have is April 7th, 1986, and it was written by Jim and John Thomas, two brothers. What did you guys think about the original title being Hunter and then them changing it to Predator?
Hunter definitely just below Predator. I feel like you hear Hunter, it's like, oh, it's just like not that scary. But then
there's Predator.
Yep.
Like, of course.
Yeah.
But Hunter is a much better name for this creature because Predator, like, this thing is hunting them. It's not just killing everything. A predator just kills to eat. Like,
exactly.
A shark's a predator. It goes and eats little fish in the ocean to survive. Mm-hmm. A hunter is killing for sport, and that's what the predator is doing.
Okay.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that, with just the description of the words, and I agree with Predator being a more stronger title, definitely. You remember, you guys have seen The Predator, right? The most recent Predator movie?
I have not seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
Actually, no.
Okay, well.
Newsflash, it features a predator the size of, like, a house.
What?
Yeah.
But in one of the scenes, the characters are talking about why they're calling it a predator or a hunter, and that they voted that a predator just sounds more badass. So right there, they're making fun of the title.
That's probably exactly what happened in the production meeting for the movie. They were just like, man, Predator sounds way more cool.
Yeah, I know.
And then they just took a vote, and then it was that.
Oh, and I forgot to mention this was 128 pages.
It was long.
It was
good, and it contained revisions, which was kind of interesting. That was something.
Yeah, it was kind of
that
weird.
was new for me. They had
New for
scenes,
me as well. I was confused.
They had scenes written the original way, and then they had them like rewritten with the revision and then the date that they revised it.
Yeah, it was kind of hard.
It was weird to reread a scene. That was kind of weird.
It was.
And plus, it really made me want to know more about what they had written before that and how it evolved over time.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Matt, let's move on to the next section. You know what to do.
All right, cool. So Predator came out in 1987 on June 12th. I'll go ahead and read the logline that they list. A team of commandos on a mission in a Central American jungle find themselves hunted by an extraterrestrial warrior.
I think that was I think that was your best one.
That was my best one of all time. Well, it's because like when they're shorter, they're just so much easier to
belt out.
Yeah.
Greater oxygen. Good
stuff.
I like it.
So it was directed by John McTiernan.
Yeah.
Written by Jim Thomas and John Thomas, brothers. Starring in this movie was Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Epelita Carrillo played the girl Anna, Bill Duke, we had Jesse Ventura, Sonny Landham was Billy, and then the rest of the guys are relatively unknown. I'll say Shane Black, he played Hawkins. He's a really good screenwriter, so he's a guy whose career actually started in this movie and obviously just took off, so good for him.
Right.
So let's see. They made the movie for only $15 million, and that's estimated. That's not an exact amount.
There was a lot of action sequences in this movie, so that's pretty cheap to think about when it comes to exploding things.
I was surprised. I thought it was going to be upwards 30 mil, 50 mil, just because, so many explosions.
Just want to say about the cast, a lot of good people involved here with this project. And fun fact, 2 governors in the cast.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
And we'll find out in trivia later that there was actually a third member of the cast who tried to be a governor and failed miserably. But we'll find out in a few minutes, all right? So, like I said, the budget was 15 mil. It grossed in the USA $60 million. Worldwide, it grossed $100 million.
Wow. Okay.
And as we all know, there's been a lot more Predator movies, Alien vs. Predator, all kinds of stuff.
Right. Video games, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We own a few of those video games.
Yes.
All right, cool. Let's move on to the trivia, all right? So, the original concept for this film originated as a joke, apparently. Someone said that the only person in this conversation that they were having, they said that the only person Rocky Balboa hasn't fought yet is E.T., the extraterrestrial. And then someone got the idea to actually take like a badass, like Rocky Balboa type character and make him fight an alien in the jungle.
I don't. Right? I'm so glad that didn't happen and that was a joke.
Oh my God,
and when you immediately say E.T., and I just think of I'm pointing my finger at them like E.T. does in the movie, but
yeah, Arnold would have just took his grenade launcher. See you later, E.T. Get out of here. But yeah, the script, like when the writers took it and like initially pitched it to whoever they took it to, they pitched it as Alien, the movie Alien, in the jungle.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, okay. This is with Rocky Balboa? Or no,
at this point, they had dropped Rocky Balboa from the script and added Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay. Yes. All right, cool.
Awesome.
I was going to be amazed if they pitched that to a...
Adrian, there's a monster in the woods. This is probably my favorite Arnold movie, though. Like, I mean, Arnold is like, he's a goofy actor and just a goofy person in general. Mm-hmm. But I mean... I like him as an actor, even though he's hilarious.
I know what I mean. He just gets the job done.
I enjoy all of his movies. I mean, I like action movies in general.
And true.
I appreciate a movie that's the acting isn't
80s action movies. Like we just love the classics.
I can appreciate that.
It's just funny with Arnold because he's Austrian and his accent is pretty thick. Yeah. And in all of his movies, doesn't matter whether he's playing a commando or like a doctor, and no one's been like, "Where are you from?" No one has ever asked him that question.
Right, he's just like born and raised in America. Yeah. No questions
Talk
asked.
About playing a role, commando to like a kindergarten cop. He can do it all.
Diversify. I mean, in one of his movies, he had a baby. But
Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way, yeah. All right, you guys want to get back on track?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So, Predator. The film had the second biggest opening in the weekend of 1987. The biggest opening was Beverly Hills Cop 2. With Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about the body count in Predator. There were 69 human beings killed in this movie. 69. And most of them by the hands of Dutch, a.k.a. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The gorillas.
There was 1 scorpion killed, 1 boar, and 1 predator.
And a lot of trees.
Yeah, if you count those, Matt, those are living organisms.
Yeah, we lost a lot of trees. Oh. All right, so Jesse Ventura, who played Blaine in the cast, the big guy that held the big minigun.
Yeah.
So he was delighted to find... This is a story from when they were shooting, okay? So he was delighted to find out from the wardrobe department that his arms were 1 inch bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger's. So he suggested to Arnold that they measure arms, and the winner should get a bottle of champagne bought by the loser. So Ventura loses the contest.
Champagne?
Ventura loses because Schwarzenegger had told the wardrobe department to tell Ventura that his arms were bigger in the first place. So this was like a whole thing started by Arnold just to be like, yep, I'm bigger than you.
He's just like,
unbelievable.
Ridiculous. So let's keep talking about the cast and like on the set type stuff. So the film provided a variety of hardships for the actors, such as leeches, snakes, stifling humidity, heat, and rough terrain. So all of the scenes that were filmed at night, they were filmed during freezing cold temperatures, and that was really hard on Arnold Schwarzenegger because during like the end of the film, remember, he's covered in mud.
Yeah.
Okay, we were joking about that earlier. He's actually covered in mud in the whole movie, and when they were doing that on the set, he became very cold and wet, and the mud actually took his body temp down like a lot, and he was like shivering nonstop. They tried to heat him with heat lamps, but the clay just dried out, so then it didn't look good. Like for the the scene. So then he just started trying to drink Jaeger tea, which apparently is like schnapps. And
he was getting a hand on the job.
He did not get warm. He just got drunk.
Oh my God.
So they just like stopped filming for that day.
Okay.
Dude. I thought they were filming in Mexico. It gets cold at night?
It was Mexico, yeah.
All right, interesting. I thought they'd be like 75.
I guess it gets cold at night over there, man.
Let's talk about this mud more, though. I found this. The Mythbusters in 2003 actually proved that covering yourself entirely in mud does not conceal your body heat.
Oh, no.
So in real life, Arnold would have been roasted by the Predator. His body heat was not concealed at all. So
if the Mythbusters busted, it's true. Jamie Hyden, we're back to Jamie Hyden. He has made his way back to the show.
I'm glad he has. You guys know this, but the audience probably doesn't know that Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally cast to play the Predator.
Oh, yeah.
And the idea was that being, like, since he's this physical action star, he would use his martial arts to make the Predator, like, very agile, very ninja-like. Well, he quit after 2 days.
Dude, he would fit more as an alien then.
Yeah, for real. Oh, yeah, because he could, like, crawl on the ceiling, do the splits.
True, yep.
I don't know, he still couldn't kick people in the face, though. That's, like, his, like, priority. If he's like...
How do I do the splits?
Am I going to be able to kick someone in the face for this picture?
That was pretty good.
Can I do the splits in this picture?
He does that in every movie, though.
He always is doing the splits. Honestly, multiple times.
Multiple.
Okay, so like I said, Jean-Claude Van Damme quit after 2 days of filming on set, and it was reported that he was complaining about the suit being so hot, it was causing him to pass out.
That makes sense.
Okay. And yeah, he hated that his face wouldn't be shown in the movie. It's like, why did you show up in the jungle in the first place?
Dude, he also, I read up that, it's just more about the suit. When they did like the invincibility idea, he thought the
Invisibility.
Invisibility,
yeah.
Okay. He thought, because it was colored orange, so they can do like post-editing tricks.
Right.
Yeah.
He thought the monster was this orange color. He's like, it looks ridiculous. I'm not getting in this suit. But it's just like, Jean-Claude, this is post-editing, just relax. You're going to be invisible.
Yeah, but he wants to be a star. He doesn't want to be behind a mask under a suit. So they actually hired a guy named Kevin Peter Hall, who's like 7 feet tall, this guy. He's a huge dude.
Yeah.
And they redesigned the whole suit, and I'll talk about that in a second. Right now, I want to get back to when we were talking about another cast member who was trying to be governor, and that cast member was Billy, okay?
Sonny Landham.
It was Billy, all right? So he tried to be the governor of Kentucky, and he lost. But let's just like get into who Billy is in real life, okay?
I know what he was.
His name is Sonny Landham, all right? And just for this movie, in order to get Sonny Landham to play Billy in the movie, the studio's insurance company had to get like a bodyguard. They had to hire a bodyguard in order to ensure the production, just because they had to protect all the other people on set from this guy, Sonny, who played Billy, because
What is this
they
guy?
had to make sure he didn't get into a fight because he was well known to be violent and short-tempered. It's like, why would you even hire him to be in the movie? Yeah, he's just like a nutcase.
Do you know what else he did?
No.
No.
He was in porn.
And then he was like, I'm going to be the governor of Kentucky. And he didn't win.
Wow.
Interesting guy.
One other cast member I want to bring back up is Shane Black. He played Hawkins. He's the guy that had to wear those big glasses in the movie, if you remember. And he hated them. He didn't want to wear them. But he wore them
They're
anyways.
nerdy.
Another thing that's kind of funny is he was originally supposed to wear a big red beret.
Oh, that sounds awful.
With his glasses.
Wow.
Oh.
And he was like, I'll wear the glasses. I will not wear that beret.
Thank God.
And then one last thing on Shane Black is that he spent his free time on the set of Predator writing the screenplay for The Last Boy Scout,
Okay.
which came out in 1991,
I
4 years
don't
later.
think I've ever seen that one.
It's got
Bruce Willis. Yeah.
That sounds kind of fun, though. You're just acting the movie, and then in breaks, you're just writing another one.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the creature design. And just the creature in general, like the Predator. All right, so the Predator has 8 minutes of screen time in the entire movie. Just 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that including when he's invisible?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good question. I didn't think about that. Good job, Brian. Brian's brain buster starting a little early over here. So let's see. The mandibles of the Predator were the idea of James Cameron, and the facial appearance of the Predator was actually inspired. Like James Cameron got the idea by looking at a wrinkle-faced bat,
Okay.
which is something that it's like real, and that's how its mouth actually works. So that's cool.
I didn't know James Cameron was involved with that.
Well, he was the guy that knew the Stan Winston.
I don't
Got
know.
the idea from him.
Who knows? But the original people they hired, right, to make the suit, the one that Jean-Claude Van Damme was wearing or whatever,
yeah.
or no, not even that one. It was another one. We'll post a picture of it on our Instagram so you guys can see it. But it was awful, and everyone on set hated it, so they made the new one, right? And the new Predator costume, the one we all know, it weighed over 200 pounds.
Ugh,
so the guy who wore the costume, he had to be connected to a bungee rig.
Okay, that's why.
Just so he could walk around.
That's terrible.
Because I was going to say, it's like in the movie, he's like jumping around. So that's the bungee rig comes into play. It's just like 200 pounds worth.
Yep.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, and Jean-Claude would have definitely complained about that one.
Right. Oh, most definitely.
And the guy he couldn't even really see out of the suit either. Mm-hmm. He was like pretty much blind. So that's pretty crazy.
Oh, Jesus.
And then my last little thing before I'm going to pass it off to Bryan here is that the guy who voiced the Predator, those voices that we all know and hear, his name was Peter Cullen, and he almost didn't even do the job because he injured his throat playing King Kong a couple years earlier.
Wait, playing like the actual King Kong?
Like he was doing the like noises for King Kong, yeah, and he hurt himself.
Wow.
Yeah. Apparently you can get
really
injured.
Into it. He was getting into it.
Be careful impersonating King Kong people. You might injure yourself.
They got to take those roles real serious and far. All right, I'm going to move into some fun facts and some trivia that is only in the movie, the 87 version, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
So the Predator's blood, we all know it as the lime green goopy substance. They basically made it on set with a mixture of liquid inside glow sticks and KY jelly. That's probably just the brand name.
KY jelly is some kind of like...
Oh, I thought it was like peanut butter and jelly. Like they just like took like store-bought jelly.
I thought it was some like sexual enhancement thing.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, weird.
Ask Sonny Landam.
All right, well, so in the movie, the invincibility cloaking effect that they successfully did.
Oh yeah, KY jelly is lube.
Thanks. Thank you for that, Matt.
We had to find it out. Someone had to look it up.
I was so set on keeping it.
Damn it! Now that's in my search history.
God, jeez, get that out of there. But the invincibility cloaking effect was achieved. This is pretty interesting to see how they did it back then. So the red suit that they originally created, that's how they like designated the two colors. Like usually think of it as like a green screen, but they had to choose red because all the green leaves around it. So that's just like the two different color types, so they can edit it out. And the red was removed with like this chroma key technique, which is leaving an empty area, and then they took another lens and put like a 30% wider lens on it, so it was zoomed in more. So when you see the Predator move, it created like that morphing, like zoomed effect, like on the plants, like behind him.
They just layered two shots basically over each other just to create effect that something is like kind of there, and you can kind of see it, and it just made it look.
It's
like,
just shimmer.
It made it look camouflagey.
Yeah, right. It's just like
really
crazy
cool
that they were able to do something like that. But now I feel like you could just do that all within a program.
CGI.
It
might be cheaper to do it nowadays too.
It's true.
Who knows?
But just to be able to think that way, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this. Like, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That idea.
That is crazy.
Just the whole green screen idea.
And now that like filmmakers just don't have to do that anymore. They just don't have to.
CGI. Here's something that would have been pretty cool in the movie. An attempt was made to get shots of the Predator swinging from vines throughout the movie, and they were trying to do that with a monkey in a red suit.
Oh my god!
But he kept removing it because he was just getting pissed. Of course.
Yeah. What is with people trying to use monkeys? Didn't they do that in Gremlins?
Yeah, they tried to put monkeys in Gremlin suits. I mean, it's the 80s. The monkey.
They were just trying everything.
There was no like animal groups, I guess, trying to protect these people. They're not people. They're animals from being in movies. So they were just able to basically like. Yeah, do whatever they wanted with them.
Oh, my God.
All right, this is probably one of my favorites. Believe it or not, I don't care. I'll believe it. But after Dutch, a.k.a. Arnold Schwarzenegger, impales the gorilla, against the wooden post, he utters the classic, "Stick around."
Stick around.
And apparently that was improvised by him.
Yeah, but that's crap, though. It's in the script.
Yeah, we read that.
I can't believe that. Like this trivia website, we get it all from IMDb, and that's like one of the top ones on there. So everyone reads that, and they're just reading a lie, just a lie, because it was in the script.
All right, so the minigun, the weapon that Blaine Jesse Ventura is using throughout the movie, just a giant machine gun, of course.
Yeah,
but it's most commonly mounted on the side of a helicopter. But they had to make many modifications so he can have a backpack form of it, and so he can just run around with it.
Totally unrealistic.
It
reminded me of like playing Halo when you could just like walk around with a turret.
Yeah,
exactly. Just like unrealistic. Way too heavy. Apparently, it's rumored that he had to wear this bulletproof vest because the forceful ejection of spent cartridges, because they would probably like hit him in the chest and like burn him, kind of maybe. Even though they were shooting blanks.
Yeah.
Well, he was actually
that's a rumor.
A Navy SEAL.
Yes.
Yeah. Or he was
Jesse Ventura?
Yeah, he was an actual elite soldier.
Apparently, other members of the cast had military backgrounds as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And to wrap it all up, Dutch's line, "Get to the chopper," is one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's favorite line in movie history.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
And anything that he has done, that is his favorite one.
Okay.
I give it to him. It's a good one, too.
It's probably my favorite of all time.
Okay, now let's dig into the script. I know this is going to be a longer episode. We all know that. We're probably around the 30-minute mark by now, around there in that general area. There was a lot of good trivia that we needed to discuss. And now when we talk about the screenplay, we're going to discuss really quickly every single act. In the script, there are 3 acts to a story. We're going to really quickly just give a quick description of each act, talk about the main plot points that happen in that act, and then also talk about the major differences that we found in the screenplay. So in the first act, we have deciphered it as mainly an action screenplay.
Ultimately.
100%.
Yeah. And
Army film, you get total Army vibes. Like, what's going on here?
Right. Like earlier we said the Predator only has 8 minutes of screen time. You don't see it like at all during the first 35, 40 minutes.
You got to be sitting down for a while to get a good visual of it.
Right.
Yeah, so what happens right in the first act is Dutch and his elite group of soldiers are called in to rescue friendly cabinet members who have been captured by Central American guerrillas. And remember, this is in the 80s, so this is Cold War and communism are rampant.
Commie bastards.
So that's Arnold Schwarzenegger and his team, and they meet up with Carl Weathers, who plays Dylan, who's a CIA operative, and an ex-soldier who has fought alongside Dutch in previous conflicts. And he's going to assist with this mission. And they continue to fight in the jungle and kill these guerrillas with extreme ease. Like, it's ridiculously easy. Like, hilariously
And fun
easy.
to watch. And
Yeah.
read.
Yeah,
Fun to
they're
watch
just like
and
the
read.
commando team. You know, they just go in, clean up.
Yeah, and all the while they don't have backup, right?
No.
And after this whole battle goes down, we learn that Dylan and the CIA used Dutch and his team to take out these guerrillas, and it was not a rescue mission at all.
You threw the 3 of us in a meat grinder.
Yeah, that's right.
That's like a
great
line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were like the best special forces unit, I guess. So they were duped into doing a extermination mission instead of a rescue mission.
Yeah, which Dutch says specifically that him and his team don't do that kind of work.
And that his men are not expendable.
Yeah, right. And finally, in that act, they take a hostage who is Anna, who, I mean, she's basically a gorilla, right? Yeah. Yeah, they take her as a hostage. And, I mean, really the 2 main differences that we found in this area were that the characters, just one character name, Pancho is his name in the film, and in the screenplay his name is Ramirez.
I wonder why they switched it.
I don't know. I was thinking maybe...
I mean, this Pancho more.
Yeah, Pancho's better. This might be a stretch, like, because Aliens had Vasquez, Ramirez.
Oh, okay.
Just sounds kind of similar.
Okay,
All right.
it could be there.
Could be
I
a
know.
stretch.
Well, they took like Dutch was Arnold Schwarzenegger's name in the movie,
Yeah.
but his character's name was like
Schaefer.
Schaefer.
Yeah,
in the
Alan
screenplay.
Schaefer.
Alan
Yeah.
Schaefer. Yeah, but,
So it's like
but
a
Dutch
nickname.
was his nickname. So like Pancho in the script
Nickname.
was Ramirez, but they called him Pancho in the script too. And then for the movie, they were just like, all right, everyone has one name. We're going with the cool nicknames.
Yeah.
All right, true, yeah.
It changed quite a bit, yeah. I mean, in the screenplay, I thought the characters were introduced really well. Their descriptions, like how they each had their own like little kind of small paragraph
They-
describing who they were exactly.
Yeah.
The character outfits and like portrayals based off a comic book. And that's
That's what it seemed. It seemed very comic booky, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like Blaine had a cowboy hat and they were going in the jungle.
Yeah.
Crazy.
and he's putting Sean, yeah.
Right.
They probably did that regardless, but
And he had a turret. he took a turret into the jungle. Very comic book.
And then the other big difference that we found was that in the script, if you'll remember from Stranger Things, the character Jim Hopper, right? How we said in that Stranger Things episode is that a character in Predator, a soldier who got killed doing CIA stuff for Dylan, his name in the film is Jim Hopper. Well, in the screenplay, his name was J.S. Davis. So
Boring
they changed
name.
that.
Very boring name. Jim
Yeah.
Hopper, great fake name.
And it,
fake name and
yeah.
Stamp
just
of
wouldn't have
approval. That's
yeah.
a fake name, stamp of approval.
what could have Jim Hopper's name be in Stranger Things, you know, if they never went.
Exactly. Because it could be just a minor detail. Oh, that's just a name change. But in this case, it is very important because that's the name of the guy in Stranger Things.
Butterfly effect or something, right? Mm-hmm. Just a domino. Yeah, cool. So one of the big differences in this first act between the screenplay and the movie is when they are conducting their assault on these guerrillas in their base, right? Because they think it's a rescue mission, but it's not. When they show up in the screenplay, in the movie, it's pretty much exactly the same, except for in the movie, the bad guys have this helicopter that they're trying to take off, and the good guys, they just blow up the helicopter. I think Arnold does, right? But something you mentioned earlier, Brian, I think yesterday, is that if they had just not blown up the helicopter, Arnold Schwarzenegger could have just flew it out of the damn jungle and escaped the Predator.
But they just went full badass mode.
I mean, it was cool.
From the beginning to the end, like them going Splinter Cell, sneaking up on guys, taking them out, and just killing everybody, and I guess getting one survivor that really wasn't a prisoner.
Yeah, because she comes to help them later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they took her as a prisoner because they one guy claimed that she knew everything about the bad guys' network and their plans.
Right.
Who knows if that was even true?
That's a valid point to have, I guess.
But she was lucky that she went with them though, because who knows what would have happened to her if she was alone.
She was unarmed.
I really like the writing style, reading this action scene, because it's an incredible action scene.
So did I.
Oh yeah.
And just one thing I want to point out is the sequence of events as we're watching all of these soldiers that we were just introduced to, fighting with all their different kinds of techniques and ways, their different weapons and things.
Yeah.
So one guy, I can't remember who it was, but he snipes someone up on a tree or something, and the guy falls down. So you see this cool snipe by the one guy, and then the guy falls through the roof and just enters the room that Arnold Schwarzenegger's in, just shotgunning people.
Just so it was just montage, letting everybody get involved.
Yeah,
it's just from one thing to another. I know what you're saying.
Cool ass transition, and it's funny watching the bad guy fall 30 feet, and then Arnold is just throwing a machete at a guy. It's good stuff. It's entertaining.
Oh yeah.
Another interesting, just from a writing perspective, about action scenes, and I know we talked about this a little bit in John Wick. Just writing action scenes, because they are difficult to write, and you can't control everything that happens. Everything's not preserved into the final film. Basically, the writers just put the base of the action sequences, and then everybody else who helps with the collective film puts their own creative spin on it, and just all judgment pretty much up until that point. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They kind of just decided, all right, well, what can we actually do within our budget? I think it's things that help decide stuff like that as well. But something I'll just bring up is remember when Pancho in the movie gets hit by the log?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was in the script. And what an amazing thing to construct, to have this guy, a stunt man, I guess, actually get hit by a swinging tree log that weighs hundreds of pounds.
Fake.
Or it was fake.
Fake.
I don't know how they did it, but it looked really believable in my eyes. I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah, they did a really
And reading that, I was how the heck are they going to do that? So that's something you would think, maybe the production team would say, nah, this is out of the movie because we can't do it. It's too
far-fetched.
Yeah. But no, they kept it.
So like we said, the first act was mainly action. Now that we move on to the second act, after they've defeated the guerrillas, it becomes a suspense thriller, sci-fi slasher type movie.
The commando team is now second when survival of the fittest at this point.
Yep. Yeah.
Because you see that there's something else there with them. They still don't know that it's this extraterrestrial monster. They still think it's what is it, Dutch? Or no, Dylan's there's 4 or 5 men out there. They're just coming in, just cleaning up. He still thinks it's gorillas, but no.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, just really quickly to give an overview of what happens during the second act. So the team begins to travel to a rendezvous point where they will be extracted by helicopter, and all the while they're stalked by an observer, that's what the hunter is called at first in the screenplay, who sees an infrared. Like I said, the genre now shifts and turns basically into a slasher movie on steroids, as all of these elite soldiers are killed off one by one. So, and all of these huge guys in effect are terrified by this unknown enemy.
Oh yeah, they've apparently seen any kind of combat. They've lived through all kinds of stuff, but they're terrified because this invisible thing is picking them off.
Yeah.
So some cool stuff to mention, just between differences between the screenplay and the movie here, is that in the screenplay, there is no scene of the Predator healing himself. Remember in the movie, we get to see close-up shots of his arm before we even reveal what its face looks like, of it cool. tending to its wounds, and they were very cool.
It's when you got to see the blood too, that it's just okay, this is not
right, that bright green blood.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the movie that's the first time we get to see it.
Yeah.
I think you're right. In actual a visible state. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just so people know where we're at too in the movie, this was right after Jesse Ventura's character is killed.
Yeah.
And then they just mow down the forest. But
Right.
somehow one bullet hits the predator, and then they find the blood,
Yeah.
and then it tends to its wounds.
So yeah, I mean, the overall part of this act is just these soldiers getting stalked and killed off one by one. That's
like 3 or
basically
4, right?
yeah, that's
Just get
basically
it.
what's going on here. There's a lot of suspense.
They try to make defenses, right? They have the trap where they get it in the net,
Yeah.
but it just shoots its way out.
They're all about traps.
Right.
Being able to build all those, I was just
Yeah.
so impressed.
Yeah, a lot of like Boy Scout stuff in here.
Yeah.
Eagle Scout. It's more Eagle Scout than Boy Scout.
So we're not going to talk about all of the deaths that occur. We're going to move all the way until when Arnold's the last man standing, and he says that famous line, "Get to the chopper," to Anna. And this is just part of the movie, and it is in the screenplay as well, that this particular thing is what just pisses me off about this movie. Like I've already said, I love this movie, but this part pisses me off
Only negative thing.
because Arnold gets shot in the arm by the Predator cannon, right?
Blaster.
And nothing happens to him.
Whereas Dylan got his whole arm mutilated.
Yeah.
His arm was severed. It was like
Severed.
cauterized, right?
Yeah.
It was gone.
Blaine's chest exploded,
Yeah.
but yet Arnold, it just deflects like a little,
Right.
I don't know.
Well, they tried to be like, oh, with makeup on there, because they gave him like a little like scar or just a little like sliver of a wound, basically. So they're making it. Maybe they're just trying to make it look like he just got
Skimmed,
like
yeah.
skimmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that part just makes me angry.
But visually, like in the movie, it's like the effects that they put over it's like a direct hit
Yeah.
right to like the shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Arnold Schwarzenegger. We have to factor that in. He's
He
like
could be Terminator.
he's like 4 men in 1 man, strength wise.
So now that everyone's dead, the second act is over. We're moving to the final act, and this is when it turns back into more of like an action thriller, sci-fi. Still, there's a lot of suspense in there as well.
David versus Goliath, in a way.
True.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's Arnold, Dutch versus the Predator. It's basically like a cat and mouse fight until one prevails. The ultimate hunter prevails, or predator, however you want to say it.
All right, so let's remember in the movie, after Dutch Arnold, right, says to the girl, get to the chopper, and she runs away, he starts running away from the predator, and he falls into this big river, right? There was this huge jump. It was a total stuntman that did the shot. And strangely enough,
Yeah.
I had this fun fact. I didn't say it earlier. The stuntman blew out his knee when he hit the water.
Doing
Oh,
that?
God.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, so don't
Things
jump
they-
off.
things they
Big
do.
cliffs, they're not fun to jump off.
Oh my god.
So that's what happened in the movie, right? And then he washes up on shore, yada yada. In the screenplay, he there is no water until there is some water, but first he falls through a bunch of trees. You guys remember that? He's
Yeah.
I do remember that. It was
hitting a
some
bunch
sort
of
of,
branches.
canyon,
It's like, how do you film that?
They were like, yeah, we can't do this.
All right, Arnold, we're gonna need you to put on all of this styrofoam equipment, and we're just gonna drop you, and you'll be fine. We'll see you at the bottom. All right. Yeah, but he. So then the screenplay, he would roll through the trees, then roll into the river.
Yeah. And that's when he figures out that mud will hide his heat signatures.
It's the
Yeah.
cloaking device.
Yeah.
Right, so now that he knows mud can hide him from the predator, he makes all of his weapons, he makes all of his traps, very similar between the screenplay and the movie. In the screenplay, he has this spear grenade that he forms, which he had in the movie, I think, as well.
He did.
Yeah.
And he hurts the hunter and the predator, right? But in the movie, the predator just stays there. They kind of battle it out in one area, right? In the screenplay, Arnold starts tracking and hunting this thing. This thing just starts running away from him.
Yeah, it's bleeding
and-
out and injured. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
what I liked
Arnold's
about this part.
He's determined to go kill it, hunt it down.
For just going off the word hunted, hence the name was Hunter. I just like this part now because they said in the screenplay the hunter is now being hunted.
Yeah.
It was just a nice switch. Oh, total switch in the movie now. It's now the main predator is the one being preyed on.
Yeah, it was very direct.
I know the writers said that a central idea they had of this movie is they're going to take an elite soldier and make him revert back to primitive techniques in warfare to kill a much more advanced being alien type thing.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to do when they started writing in the first place. But as Dutch, or Arnold, is tracking this hunter, he steps into a waterfall, and that's how he loses all of his dirt camouflage, or his mud camouflage. In the movie, he falls into water, just again, and that's how
Yeah.
he loses it.
Yeah.
And does a very nice breaststroke in that movie. Yeah, he did that.
Great
Pretty good
form.
Great form.
Great form.
And then that's when the predator reveals of what it actually looks like. I just want to say really quickly, in the screenplay, the creature description was very vague.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what it looked like at all.
No, it was very open for interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It said the word spurs a lot, and I thought of like cowboy boots.
Yeah, that's what I
And I
kept
was
thinking
just
of.
like,
They
what?
described it having spur weapons. Yeah, that was weird. There really was a basic description of the creature. I mean, it still made it enjoyable to read, even though
Yeah.
you didn't know what it was.
Right.
But it was clear that these writers had absolutely no idea what they probably wanted it to look like or anything.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's hard, especially because you just want to give them the base details and then let the special effects, creature design people do that kind of work. Really, you just give them the essentials to work with.
Yeah. But as you were saying, Drew, in the end of the movie, the Predator reveals what its face looks like to Arnold, right? Then Arnold uses one of his traps. This tree like falls on top of the Predator.
Yeah.
Then the Predator like does Billy's laugh and initiates its bomb to blow up the area. Arnold runs away. He survives, right? In the screenplay, like we were saying, he's tracking the alien and he chases it back to his ship, right? But before he gets to the ship, he like finds this homemade trap by the Predator, which was, it looked like a spider web, but it was like razor sharp string or something.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That was cool to read. Very cool. And I think they like expanded on that idea.
Yeah, the rope.
in Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, they
remember?
did. 'Cause
They would
that
like
one
put the
alien
net
that
on
has
the
the
alien, it
grade.
would shrink.
It's in Predator 2 as well.
Very cool.
Oh, okay, nice.
Super cool. Moving on though, so he moves past the spider web, Arnold's character, and he gets to the ship where this Predator hunter, I guess, like is trying to take off. He's trying to leave, and he finds all the bodies of his like crew,
Just comrades.
and like other kills that the hunter has, Predator. He then like so this hunter at this point is like really weak, right? Like you were saying, he's fleeing.
bleeding out, yeah.
He's fleeing Arnold Schwarzenegger's character because he's so weak, and I guess Arnold's character, like Dutch, is supposed to pick up the hunter's gun that we see in the movie, and he like uses it, and the way he activates it is just by screaming, and he blows the hunter Predator's head off.
Yeah.
And then somehow the ship explodes too.
Yeah. I hated the ending in the screenplay. I thought it was awful.
So it's like, what?
It was just silly.
It was silly, yeah.
Because, I mean, just talking about the Predator itself, in the screenplay, it was, I mean, just this...
Dominating.
Yeah, it was some dominating force, and then once it gets wounded, it just starts running away to its ship to leave.
What an asshole! Yeah,
Bull.
right.
But and then like in the movie, Arnold beats him, and the Predator is a honorable warrior,
right.
and accepts that it's going to die, but it also laughs at him like, "Oh, you're going to kill me? Well, guess what? I'm going to kill you and blow up this entire general area so that my existence is gone."
Yeah.
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 That's like Plan B or whatever.
Yeah.
That's their code
Right.
for
Yeah.
all of the Predators. Right.
The movie unfolded the right way. Definitely no chase scene to the ship.
Yeah. Oh, and then the movie and the screenplay on the same way. Arnold gets picked up in the same helicopter that the girl Anna, the girl that they took hostage from that village,
Yeah.
is there in the helicopter, and they just kind of fly away. End of movie.
Well, I liked that description in the screenplay that they had, because watching the movie, you would never know that kind of description was added to the ending, because I mean, you have it written it right here that it was described that Arnold looked like an alien out of this world just because of how in terrible shape he was. That like even the guys on the helicopters were pointing their weapons at him, like ready to fire and kill him. And that's when Anna intervened and recognized who he was. So I thought that was cool. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't get that from the movie at all.
He just looked like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
I think
standing
she
there,
like says like in the script, she's like, I recognize that body figure. It's just like,
Oh my god.
yeah, more bow to Arnold Schwarzenegger being huge. We get it.
You know, he actually lost weight for the movie because he didn't want to look too big.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I got to lose some weight. I look too big to be a soldier.
Imagine having that thought.
He lost 25 pounds. Yeah. And now, Brian's Brain Busters. New segment.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys said last time I had a good question during the Stranger Things one, so I've got some brain busters for you here.
Perfect.
Bust my
Little,
brain.
little post thoughts on the episode and the movie and screenplay. So, do you feel the writers envisioned who they wanted to act as the main characters when in the writing stage? Like during character development, were they thinking, Dutch, hell yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I don't know. I mean, that's really tough, because at least when I write things, I never think of an actor. Maybe these guys were at that point where they had that type of power to be able to do that, but I really have no. That's a very tough question to answer. Like, I mean, I'm saying at least for Mac's description, he was described as like a bear of a man, and Bill Duke is not a bear. A bear.
he's not.
It's
Yeah.
true. I just thought of him as like just like the whole commando aspect, just like Arnold. Like, yeah, he's a.
I mean, then
he's
maybe
in a
they
bunch
did.
of like army movies. Too.
Arnold was attached like right away.
Okay.
With this, like, once this movie was like starting to go into production, when like the production team decided, all right, we're gonna make this movie, Arnold was like right away, because he was like helping cast the other members. Like he interviewed Jesse Ventura, I read, and was
wow.
You're big and strong.
You're a governor.
Yeah.
You're a future governor.
Exactly.
Future governor, yeah,
so Arnold did have a say, and he was like a part of picking, all right, who's going to be in this movie, who's going to play each character.
All right. I like it.
I mean, again, because that's just a hard question, at least from a writer's perspective. I mean, the studio had a lot to do with that, because I noticed that this was their guy. These were these guys' first screenplay credit ever. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I don't do that. I'm just trying to make stuff.
Get the thoughts out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It was just interesting.
But yeah, I'd say the studio, definitely.
All right, and I only got 2 this week. So looking at other films that were made with the Predator, do you feel the AVP series aids or diminishes the classic Predator? We already hit on this kind of, like early on in the episode, I was like, damn, they're already talking about AVP, but...
I think it helps it. I mean, the same studio made both movies, and they were just like, all right, let's make more, and we'll just combine it, have them like fight each other. There's like that whole history where I guess like the Predators have been coming and they're like for like thousands of years, and they help build the pyramids. I think it's all kind of cool. So like whatever, I enjoy the movies.
I enjoy watching them fight. I mean, even it was before the movies they started doing that. They were doing comic books and video games, like even in the 80s, 90s, about the Alien versus Predator fighting each other. I think the movies that they've made, like in the 2000s, are not great. I mean, but I agree. It is just fun to just watch them fight.
They're fun. Yeah, but the crazy thing, though, that I got to bring this up, we were talking about it earlier, is that apparently this film, like the film we've just been talking about, Predator, the original, is like the worst critically reviewed, like by the experts, as they say.
Doesn't make any sense.
Compared to the rest of the movies. And that makes no sense, because like the AVP, or even the new Predator that just came out.
Oh, I didn't even look at the AVP. I was just looking at like Predator, Predator 2, Predators, and The Predator.
Well, the movie that just came out is nowhere near as good as the movie that came out in 1987. So that's crazy. I don't know what the critics are thinking with that.
Well, that about wraps it.
And that was Bryan's Brainbusters.
Well, thanks, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, no problem. Prepare for more busters.
All right, you guys got some final thoughts about Predator, or The Hunter, as originally called?
I mean, overall, this was one I was really excited to cover with you guys.
Totally.
It's turned out to be an episode a little longer than the ones we've been
That's all right.
doing lately, but that was kind of expected.
A lot to cover.
A lot of content here, a lot of stuff that we wanted to talk about. And I hope we covered a bunch of good stuff. That's really all I got.
Mm-hmm. Huge fan. Loved the movie. Loved the acting. Especially loved the monster, the creature that was created, just from that whole idea. Obsessed with it.
Yeah, I agree. What do I got here in my notes? I love the movie. I love everything about this movie. The creature is an iconic monster in cinema history.
It's so cool. It's great.
The script is really good, too. This is the second time I read it. I mean, the first time going through, I had no idea what to expect. But it is written very well. It's very descriptive. I mean, even at times, it felt like a novel writing a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Just with the amount of detail. I also think it's a good template to look at how to learn to write action and suspense. And it's also an interesting piece because it excels at interweaving different genres as it progresses from act to act in the story. And another immediate example of this that I can think of is From Dusk Till Dawn, which starts out as a crime and it evolves into a horror comedy type. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess you could say overall that like a lot of films have done this, but after reading and watching Predator again, those types of genre shifts just really stuck out to me as like clear, cut, and dry as far as the axe broke. And really overall, I think it's a fresh technique and approach to storytelling to be aware of. No matter what platform you're using to listen to us, I just want it to be known that we're available on iTunes, Spreaker, and YouTube. So if you like our content, please be sure to follow all of our channels so you can stay in the loop with new episodes. Also, feel free to give us a rating and leave us comments, or send us an email at screenplayjunkie.show@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. Also, if you have any recommendations of screenplays we should read, movies we should watch, or really anything, let us know on any of our platforms. We're always looking for other things to check out. On the next episode, we're going to discuss and review the 2019 Netflix action crime film, Triple Frontier. We actually don't know anything about the movie. However, apparently it's quite popular. It stars Ben Affleck and Oscar Isaac. It's going to be a similar show like what we did back in episode 9 Bird Box. We're just going to watch the movie and discuss our opinions, so we will not be talking about the film screenplay version. Thank you for listening. We hope you can join us next time.